People, Eddie Nketiah. Now, I don't want to exaggerate, but he's probably better than Ronaldo Lima and them things there. Now, away from the jokes, in all seriousness now, a lot of people have been wondering, where is he? I mean, we haven't seen many youngsters given a chance under Unai Emery, and to be honest, it's nothing to do with him. We're not in a position as a football club to really be giving chances to young players at this moment in time. We need to build a run of form together. But in regards to the cup competitions, only Emil Smith really and truly, give or take, if Maitland-Niles is fit, he would have been included. But I like to disregard Maitland-Niles and Guendouzi and players like that because they're more or less first team. Their age is irrelevant now. They're not under 23s. Eddie Nkeitah, Joe Willock, a lot of these players, especially Joe Willock, there would have been more, if he was playing under Wenger at this stage, he probably had more appearances in regards to the Europa League. And I actually feel Joe Willock this year deserved it more than he did last year. He's actually started off the season well. But Eddie Nkeitah, where has he been? We've seen him on the bench a couple times in the Premier League, correct me if I'm wrong. We've seen him on the bench in cup competitions, but he's not managed to come off the bench. And it's caused a lot of fuss. A lot of people were saying the mad stuff about Eddie Nketiah, as you would whenever there's a good young player. I love it. I love him. But there was comments like we should sell Lacazette and play him. Horrid suggestion. I wouldn't read too much into it. Firstly, he was involved in pre-season. Unai Emery rates him. The issue with him now is that he's got to be patient. I mean, you've got Wells in good form. He's a bit Wells. I made a video about. I did say Eddie Nketiah will get his chance this season quicker than we think, and I still maintain that his chance will come this year. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But right now, obviously Lacazette and Aubameyang are the top dogs, and they're in relatively okay form, and they've picked up in recent weeks. Wells is probably been our best performing striker, give or take, excluding Lacazette, in terms of what he's been given in the minutes, what he's given us in the minutes he's played. So it's tough. I mean, is he a better goal scorer than Wells? And even though he's only scored 2 professional goals so far, of course, in my opinion. But Wells has experience on him. You know what you're going to get with Wells, essentially. And if you're not going to play Wells up front, you know what he's going to give you on the flanks. So that's why them three more or less get game time ahead of Eddie. So it's tough. He's 19, he turns 20 next season. So between January 6-month period and next season, pre-season, he'll probably go out on loan because he'll turn 20. He needs to play senior football. He's shown his prolificness at youth football international level, youth international level, youth football level. He's in good form this year for the under 23s. I think he's got 5 appearances in 5. Did his thing last year. The man's born to score goals. He took his chances last year when they became, and he was on the cross. You saw him get a little minutes against Huddersfield, correct me if I'm wrong. He definitely came off the bench against Everton. Through the middle is where you want to see him play, but you can't rule out him. He's a better player than people give him credit for. Yes, as a striker, you want to be known for scoring goals, and regardless, no matter how good you are as a striker, if you cannot score goals, you can only be rated so highly. I've seen many strikers in football, like take Morata. I think Morata is a good footballer. General play, all of these things, he's hard, but is he scoring 20 goals a season? There's only so much ratings you can get. I'm not digging him out. I'm only using him to make the example. So yeah, he's got to go and develop that. I think he can be used on the flanks as well because he's a great striker, like I just said. But his movement is good. His actual movement into wide areas, his ability to work the channels, particularly at youth level, which I've seen him play for England, start off on the flanks, is very good. And he can get minutes there. And similar to Wells, how Wells puts in a shift defensively, Eddie can learn that, okay, you're a goal scorer. Obviously, he knows it, but you're a goal scorer. There's other objectives for the team, so we could use his youthful energy on the flanks, especially if we're not going to bring in a midfielder. So I do think he will get minutes. He has to be patient. I believe he's on the cusp of the first team. He's travelled a bit, but he's just been very unlucky. I believe after the Coventry game on the 23s when they beat Coventry in the Chequers trade, the Coventry boss said he'll be interested if a couple of these players ever became available for a loan spell, to which you have to include Eddie so people know what he's about. I like Eddie because many people write him off. They think because he's small he can't hold himself physically, and he can. Obviously he needs to develop physically, he needs to develop technically and stuff. And Unai Emery sees these men more often than us at training, so there must be something he's not showing or showing. So yeah, it's a case of remaining patient. And to be honest, it's sad. I don't want no one to get injured, but he might have to not hope for an injury, but an injury might present a slot in. Do I think it will be like Rashford when he got his chance in the Europa League when stuff happened at United? No, I don't. But yeah, he's a very good player. I like him a lot, man. He's just gonna have to be patient. It's like Willock. I mean, Willock, it remains to be seen whether he can make it at Arsenal because of the number of bodies, but he's got the talent. It just remains to be seen how patient these players are remaining will be able to remain because they're approaching. They don't need to be the finished article, but they're approaching points in their career now where they need to kind of kick on, in a sense that Joe Willock's badded up the thing. He's developing physically, but he probably needs to go and test himself at men's level next year, whether it's a 6-month loan or for the whole year. Thingy the same. The man in question, Eddie Nkeitah, the same. Nelson's gone and done it this year. Emerald Smith actually had opportunities to go out on loan this year and he rejected them, and he's making headwinds in regards to playing for Arsenal. But they'll get a point where cup competitions won't suffice, and he'll need to try and push to start in the Premier League or be included. He's still young. They're all still young, but Eddie's 19 years of age. He's good enough to start and play a part. So he's passed one test. If you remember Wenger, someone who I use as an oracle or guide stick for how I look at young players and shape to where how I look at young youth and young players and my approach. He said if you're not ready to start at 19, you never will be. That doesn't mean you have to be the finished article. That just means if you won't be able to hack it from a technical level and a mental level, you won't pass the test. And he's passed the first test. He's able to do it. He can do it. He's shown. He's made appearances for the club. It now just comes to pushing on a bit, putting pressure. I mean, he should be licking his lips because Welbs is in good form, so he's flipped a lot of it. But if Welbs was in mediocre form with his contract out and not included in the side, there's a space there. There is a space there if he keeps kicking on. If I'm him, I'm trying my best at least until January. And if I'm him, honestly, people, I would sit down and ask myself, okay, cool. Am I going to be able to make my Premier... Well, you get the point. He's already made his Premier League debut and all of them things. But am I going to be able to make my Premier League debut under Unai Emery? Can I possibly make a first start? Am I going to get more minutes? Because of where Arsenal are as a football club, just their results in regards to their trying to get to the top 4. Do I see myself being presented opportunities? Is it realistic to think Unai Emery is going to give me opportunities? What is Unai Emery seeing? What is he not seeing from me? What does he want to see? How far does he think I am from the first team and all of these things? To which when you get these answers, if I'm him again, I'm sitting down in January with my agent and my brothers and my dad and all the agents and people, friends and family and loved ones around him, and I'm asking them for their opinions, and I'm actually would consider going out on loan because you need to make progress. There's a case of if he goes on loan, scores goals, or I'm not expecting him to be the finished article. We can't expect. I would love it, but we can't expect him to go on loan and he's going to score 20 goals because he's still developing. But it'd be a thing where you go on loan, you possibly score them goals, you show Emery what you're missing, Wells' contract's up, so spaces will be made available, and then pre-season you might get a look in along with Nelson, who probably features in the first team next year and stuff as well. But for this year at least, it does appear to a degree it could be a write-off in terms of the sheer volume of young players being presented chances. But yeah, man, Eddie's my guy. He's got a lot of talent, man, a lot of talent, and I hope he realises his potential, man. He's been fighting through adversity. He's been released and them things for being too small, and yeah, man, it's testament to him, man. For me, Emerald Smith and Eddie Nkeitah, they're some of our highlighted prospects at the moment. But there was once upon a time people weren't actually speaking about them when the likes of Malin, Hines, Willock, all of these guys were still Crowley, all of these. Obviously, in the last 2-3 years, we've seen bare youngsters leave. But when they were all here, no one was speaking about Eddie. No one was speaking about Eddie. People could realise he was scoring goals, and people were speaking about him and Emerald. But you get the point in it. I mean, it's testament to the fact. If you remember when they both went to him and Marlon went to Beijing. Malin left, and Eddie Nkeitah managed to take them opportunities, to which I think would have been presented to Marlon possibly. But I like him a lot, man. And Daniel Marlon need to come back to Arsenal. He snaked it. But, yeah, man, I love them both. But, yeah, man, I ain't got no more thoughts to add, man. He's got to be patient. And on the grand scheme of things, we're only in October. So, yeah, I mean, clearly you're in Unai's thoughts because he's including you on the bench. But maybe the game conditions haven't been set up to give you opportunities. I don't know. But for now, people, guys, DG, I'm out, man. Thank you for watching and viewing.